One of the most common myths around the process of gemstones is that they have the fixed rate. For example, I quite often receive the messages like, "How much would cost a yellow sapphire for 1 carat?" Of course, I say something like $200 approximately. The person on the other end thinks, okay, $200 per carat. If I buy 10 carat yellow sapphire, it shall be just $2,000. It sounds quite right. So can I order a 10 carat yellow sapphire, please, for $2,000? Of course, my answer is unfortunately no, you can't. The same with diamonds. Quite often people ask how much would cost a 1 carat diamond, and I say approximately $5,000. Then they go like, okay, please arrange for me a 10 carat diamond and it will be $50,000. Sounds not much bad. I wish it was the reality, but unfortunately the truth is quite different regarding the pricing. The thing is that tiny gemstones like 1 carat, sometimes 2 carats, they're found quite often. Therefore the value is lower. Therefore the price is lower. For example, the same yellow sapphire of 1 carat or something can be found on a daily basis. That's why its initial price is very low, like a few hundreds of dollars. The bigger sapphire, let's say the same 10 carat size, can be found maybe once per year. So, its price will be calculated not based on the price per 1 carat. It will be not $10,000, but much more. It will be something like $20,000 or $30,000 at least, depending on the vividness of the color and its brightness. And of course many other factors. Another example, the neon blue spinel in Vietnam. Usually they get really tiny pieces of it, and even they cost a lot. However, if they occasionally find something bigger than 3 or 5 carats, it will be the found of the century or something, therefore will cost a lot more. When you're looking for a ruby, you rely on a certain price range, according to this amount of money and that amount of money. Is it correct? I mean, you won't be able to sell a ruby that costs, let's say, $100,000 for $10 million. Basically, its price is formed by the willingness of the customers to pay that price for that specific gemstone, rather than by the market. Let me explain about it a bit more detailed way. Look here, this is a blue sapphire. However, the color is not very much vivid. And this is also a blue sapphire. Looks very much prettier now, doesn't it? And that is also a blue sapphire. Do you know what I mean? So yes, of course, first of all we have to see what is the size of the gemstone. Let's imagine that all 3 of them are the same size. Then we will have to look at the inclusions. If there are a lot of inclusions, or inner scratches, or crackles, or bubbles, or whatever, of course the price will be much lower. And the third characteristic, which is important, is the brightness of the color and the hue. For example, the last sapphire has got lots of chrome inside, therefore it will be shining bright even in the dark room. So, the combination of that 3 criteria will make the price vary. Let's have a look at other examples. This is what is called a royal blue sapphire, according to the certificate. And this one, according to this certificate, is called cornflower blue sapphire. And this will be just blue sapphires. So, the price will vary between several hundreds of dollars up to several $1,000s per carat. Specifically, the last one was sold for $25,000 many years ago. And the common idea is that not rare gemstones don't cost much, but at the same time you cannot invest in them, because their price won't be growing a lot. However, if you get your hands on something like that, you see the polychrome sapphire which was found in Vietnam, you indeed will have to spend a lot on it, because it's already appreciated as a piece of art. However, you also will be able to sell it for bigger money several years after. For instance, this specific sample has gone to auction somewhere in Europe and was sold for a really solid price. Another example is a polychrome sapphire, combining yellow and blue colors. Also, there are no standard characteristics which would tell us how much this or that specific sapphire shall cost. Or let's say this beautiful guy. I bought it immediately as soon as I saw it, because here we have got, if I remember correctly, about 12 different colors. This is something magical. The bomb of hues. You have green, blue, pink, yellow, brown, etc, etc, etc. It was an interesting situation with this specific stone, because the client who was claiming to buy it asked for a few minutes to discuss it with his professional colleague regarding the price. It didn't lead to any result because nobody actually, no matter how professional and experienced in the gemstones world you are, knows the price on that thing, because it's absolutely unique. I haven't seen anything like that during my whole career so far. One more example for you. This stone outside looks like red, and some laboratories were identifying it as a ruby, while other laboratories were identifying it as a sapphire, as inside it was rather orange than red. I brought it to Bangkok from Sri Lanka, where I purchased it for quite a big money. And by some happy coincidence in Bangkok, I met my friends who were hosting one of the biggest specialists in rubies from the USA. So I showed that stone to him, and he said it's the third time he ever sees that type of ruby. He found some difficulties in pricing that gemstone due to its uniqueness and rareness. So, the main idea is, if we are talking about average type of gemstones, it will be easier to estimate the price, as it will be falling within the certain range. However, as soon as we step above the average level and go into the world of really precious and unique gemstones, there will be no certain characteristic to calculate the final price, as they are literally just like the masterpieces. It's difficult to tell what would be the price exactly. So if the gemstone is unique or very beautiful and rare, it will cost a lot. Especially when we're talking about some interesting samples with fancy inclusions or not ordinary optic effects, and so on.